Hello friends, today our topic is the first case of the job sequencing problem. That means n number of jobs and 2 number of machines. And for that particular problem, we use the Johnson algorithm. So let's check what is the Johnson algorithm steps are saying. The step 1, select the least processing time. Select the least processing time and occurring in the list A1 to AN and B1 to BN. Now those are denoting the machine A and machine B, and we have to find the minimum processing time occurred for some job K. So before we just read out the steps, let us discuss these steps with a problem. So we are proceeding to a problem, and that one, there are 7 jobs, each of which must go through the 2 machines A and B. So before we start, here are total number of jobs are 7. So we have n jobs and 2 machines, and here the 2 machines are A and B, and n is here denoting the 7, and obviously that must be finite. And the order has been given, that is AB. The processing times are given below. Now according to the table, if we see, the first row give us the name or the number of the jobs. There are 7 jobs, so those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. As in the order A and AB, so the second row denoting the machine A and the third row denoting the machine B. Now the processing times. Suppose for job A, the machine A has the processing time 4 unit, and for machine B, job number 1 has the 5 unit of time. Same as for job number 2, the machine A has the processing time, that is 3 unit, and for the machine B, that is 7 unit. So in the same way, the table has been constructed. Now we have to determine a sequence for the 7 jobs that will minimize the total elapsed time. Now if we think about the first video which was describing the meaning of job sequencing problem, now there the total elapsed time, that term was most important. Already we have said the total elapsed time means what is the minimum or the optimal time and the job sequence we have in the problem. So that means we have to also find out the sequence and also the total elapsed time. So let's check the first step of the algorithm. So if we proceed to the first step, it says select the least processing time occurring in the list of A1 to AN and B1 to BN. Let the minimum processing time occur for some job K. If we proceed to the step 2, if the smallest processing is for the machine A, process the kth job first and place it in the beginning of the sequence. And if it is for the machine B, then process the kth job in the last and place it at the end of the sequence. Now what the step 1 and step 2 says. Let's check with the problem here. We have to basically find out which one is our minimum processing time from machine A and also from machine B. Now if we look at the thing or the table, that minimum processing time is just nothing, that is 1. So if it has 1, so there is no other minimum time processing time has been found out. So and that is belonging to machine A. So we are just constructing another 7 boxes for the 7 jobs. As it is coming from the processing time is the minimum from machine A, so we are writing it in the first place of the sequence. Suppose that one is now in the machine B, so it must be written here, that means the last of the sequence, and that is our step 2 says. Now another question can arise. If there are 2 minimum processing time, let's check with the other step, we will find it. So the first one, we have to find out the minimum processing time. If that is coming from machine A, then we have to write it at the first of the sequence, and it is coming from machine B, then we have to write it at last. And according to that, the job 3 has been crossed out. So the next table is just like without the job 3 here. So next, once again we have to find out the minimum processing time. If we look after the table once again, now the minimum processing time is 3, but here is a tie. That means not only one processing time 3 has been found. There are 2 processing time, minimum processing time 3 has been found, and that is one from machine A and another one is from machine B. So we are just proceeding to the step 3 now. And step 3 says, when there is a tie in selecting the minimum processing time, then there may be 3 solutions. Now what are the solutions? Now if the equal minimum values occur only for machine A, then select the job with larger processing time in B for placing in the job sequence first, but that is not our case at that moment. If the equal number of values occur only for the machine B, that is also not our case. Number 3, if there are equal minimum values for each machine, and that is our case, because already we have found 3 the minimum processing time, and one is for machine A and another one is for machine B. So then place the job in the machine A first and the one in the machine B last, because our order is AB. So what is happening here? Just look at the problem. Here we have the minimum processing time, that is 3, and that one, first one is for machine A and the second one is for machine B. So we have to choose the job 2 at first and job 4 at last. So what is happening here? As for the first one, job 3 has been written in the first of the sequence. Now here the 3 processing time for the minimum processing time 3, the machine A, that is corresponding to job 2, so that has been written first in the sequence, and the job 4 is for the machine B processing time 3, so that has been written in the last, and that is our step 3. So according to that, we are just here crossing out the job 2 and job 4 also. So our table minimizes, and here the 2 3 and 4, these 3 jobs has already been crossed out. So once again we have to find out the minimum processing time. And the minimum processing time now we have already found, that is 4, and again that's a tie. So we have to proceed to the step 3 once again. What it says, let's check the step 3 part 1. If the equal minimum values occur only for the machine A, here that is our case, because already we have found the minimum processing time, that is 4, and that is also for machine A. So select the job with larger processing time in B for placing in the job sequence first. So not only the machine A processing time here as a tie, we have to choose the processing time for machine B here now, and that job must be placed in the sequence first. So what is happening here in the problem? Now in the problem here we are just checking the processing time for machine B, that is 5 for the job 1 and that is 6 for the job 5. So which one has the larger processing time for machine B? That is 6, that is for job 5. So that must be written in the first of the sequence and then the 1 come. So in that way, at first the 3 was for the first step, in the second step 2 was there and 4 was there, and in the third step now, as machine 5 has the larger, for the machine job 5 has the larger processing time for machine B, so 5 must be in the first position and in the second position the job 1, and in that way also we are crossing out the job 1 and job 5 over here. So once again the table minimizes. Now only the 2 jobs are remaining, 6 and 7. Now look at the minimum processing time once again. Now already we have found the minimum processing time, that is 5, and that is also for machine B. So what happens? That is our step 3 and part 2. Let's check what it say. Now it say if the equal minimum values occur only for the machine B, that is our case now, select the job with larger processing time in A. Now we have to choose the larger processing time for the machine A and to be sequenced in the job sequence last. Look at the first one step. When that was for machine A, the tie minimum processing value, then we have to look for the machine B processing time, and which has the larger for the job, that must be sequenced first. But in the case of B, we have to check the larger processing time for machine A, but that must be in the sequence last. So what is happening here in the problem? Now in the problem here, larger processing time is for machine A for job 7. So 7 must be written last, then before that the job 6 comes. So here that one is the 7 last, 6 before. So if we proceed once again with the complete problem, then we can say the first one is the minimum processing time, that is 1. So we are just writing the job 3 as the first one as a sequence, and we are crossing out the job 3 here. So we are checking now what is the next minimum processing time, that is for job 2 in for machine A, and once again 3 for job 4, that is for machine B. So here for machine A, job 2 must be sequenced at first, and for machine B the job 4 must be sequenced at last. and then we are just crossing out the 2 jobs. Then once again we are choosing the or finding the next minimum processing time, and that is we have already found, that is 4, and that is belonging to machine A. Now we have to choose which has the larger processing time in machine B. Now the larger processing time for machine B is for the job number 5. So that must be sequenced first and then the 1 job number in the next. So 1 and 5 both are crossed out. Next processing time, that is belonging to machine B. Now we have to choose which has the larger processing value or processing time for machine A. Now that one is the larger processing time for machine A. So job 7 must be written as the last, and then before that the 6 come. So that is our job sequence. So if we proceed to the final job sequence 1, that is just like from 3 to 2 to 5 to 1 to 6 to 7 to 4. Now how to find out the total elapsed time and the ideal time? So let us construct a table here, and for the table we are in the first column writing the job, and in the second column in and out for machine A, in the third column that is for machine B in and out, and the last column is for ideal time. So let's check what is happening here. As according to the sequence we have written the job, that is 3 2 5 1 6 7 4, 3 2 5 1 6 7 and 4. Now we have to check the initial table also. So that one was our initial table. That means the processing time for the table has been given here. So we have to start, as the order is AB. So we have to start from the initial condition, suppose that is 0. Then check the job number 3. For the machine A, the processing time is 1. So it is starting from 0 and ending at plus 1, that means 1. Now machine B must be the in the second, so it is starting from 1, and here the processing time for machine B for job number 3 is 2. So that one is 1 plus 2, and that is becoming as 3. Now look at the thing, what is ideal time? Now ideal time is, it is for the machine A, it is starting from 0 to 1. Now what is happening for machine B here? He has to wait 1 unit of time. So that is the ideal time for machine B at that job. For the job A, for the machine A, there is no ideal time. Now in job 2, it has ended on 1. So it is starting from 1 here. And for job 2, let's check for machine A, that is the processing time 3. So we are reaching to 4 for machine A, that means plus 3. Although it has ended, the machine B ended on 3, but here that is ending on 4, the machine A for after job 2. So it has to start from 4, and for that one machine B for job 2 the processing time is 7. So that is 4 plus 7. That one, it is reaching to 11. Now once again look, it has ended on 3, but it has to wait 1 unit of time. So ideal time for job 2 for machine B once again 1. Now the next job, that is 5. Job machine A starting from 4. For 5, the machine A has the processing time 4, so it is ending at 8. And here for machine B, it is starting from 11. Now there is no ideal time for machine B because it has ended on 8 and it has ended on 11 unit of time. So it is starting from 11 where it has ended. So there is no particular ideal time for machine B here. Now that is 11, and for job 5, the machine B has the processing time 6. So that is plus 6, that means 17. Same as for machine A, for job number 5, no ideal time. For machine B, no ideal time. Now the machine job 1. Machine A ended on 8. For job 1, processing time 4. So it is reaching up to 12. And once again, no waiting time for machine B. It is starting from 17 as it has ended on 17, and it has the processing time that is 5. So it has ended on 22. So also there is no ideal or waiting time for machine B and machine A also. Next job 6. Machine A ended on 12 and job 6, so it has the processing time 7, so it has ended on 19. Now once again no waiting time for machine B, 22, and that one was processing time 5, so 27. No ideal time for waiting time for machine A, no ideal waiting time for machine B. Next job 7, it has ended on 19. Now for machine, that is processing time 8, so 19 plus 8, that is 27. Now that is also immediately the machine B started the work, so there is also no waiting time for machine B, and that one is 5 for the processing time of machine B, so that is ended up to 32 unit of time. So once again no processing time, no ideal time or waiting time for machine A and machine B. Now the final job, that is 4. Now it is started from 27 and it has the processing time 8, so it has ended on 35. Now the machine B has the processing time 3, so it has ended on 38, and that 38 is particularly our total elapsed time, because the started 0 and the complete sequence of jobs has ended at the 38 unit of time. So but just look at the thing here, at 35, that one is the end time of machine A. Total elapsed time is 38. So for the end of the complete sequence of jobs, machine A has to wait 3 hours. So that is the complete ideal time for machine A. Now look at the job 4. In the job 7, machine B ended at 32 units of time, but it has to start at 35. So what is the waiting time? That is 3 unit of time. So for the complete problem, the machine B has 1 plus 1 plus 3, 5 ideal time, and that is how the n jobs and 2 machines using Johnson algorithm we can find out the total elapsed time, the complete sequence of jobs, and also the ideal time for the machine A and machine B.